Hello, and welcome to this demo on Windows applications. So the first application we were going to look at is Notepad. And I'm going to go ahead and maximize it. Now if you look, this is some text I typed in. You notice all the same. There's nothing really special I can do about it, but I can type here. But that's about it. I can't really change the size of it. I can't change the way it looks or anything like that. However, you can save it by going to this File button right here, clicking it, clicking Save, and it will open File Explorer and ask you where you want to save it. So if you need something a little nicer than that, we do have WordPad. I'll go ahead and maximize that. And you'll notice here that WordPad is a little bit nicer. I have text, I have bold text, I have colored text that's underlined, I have a different font here with italics. You can actually do other things such as add a picture, make a drawing, put in the time and date, find words. Again, here's the bold, italic, underline. You can actually strike out a word if you highlight it. And by the way, you highlight by clicking before and holding the mouse button to the end of the word. And then I'll click that and it struck it out. Now you can also have paragraphs aligned to the left, to the center, or to the right. The justify, which you can't really see much here, but actually stretches it out so it fits as much across the screen as possible. And then there's other things like indentation, bullets, and other settings. Moving on, we've also got the calculator. Now, the calculator, you can either, and just so you know, these CE buttons here you can use to clear, but it's a very basic calculator. It works just like any other calculator. You can type the numbers in using the mouse by clicking on them. And there you go. Or, let's go ahead and clear it. And if I were to type on the keyboard and hit enter, it also works that way. Now, I did mention that you can change the mode that the calculator is in. So, if I were to go to view, you notice there I'm currently in standard mode, but there's also scientific, programmer, and statistics mode. And there are shortcuts you can press to make it go into these different modes. So first off, I'm going to go to scientific, but I want you to remember that programmer mode has a shortcut of Alt 3. And I'll explain that here in a moment. So scientific mode. And you notice now we have a scientific calculator. So if I were to hit 8 factorial, I now have 40,320. Now if you remember, I said you can use a shortcut. So Alt 3 was programmer mode. So if I press the Alt button on the keyboard and the number 3 at the same time, it automatically changes into programmer mode. Now you'll notice if you go into view, there's other types of things you can use. There's unit conversion, date calculation, and other functions on here. Next would be Windows Media Player. And basically, you find a file that either is audio or video on your computer by browsing this area, which works quite a bit like the File Explorer, and it'll play on Windows Media Player. So that's about all I can show you on here. I mean, it does work pretty well, though. You might want to go into the library or check your music section. A lot of times it will find things for you. And finally, we have Paint. And as it sounds, Paint is, well, like I explained before, kind of like a digital painting. So you get your different brushes, different shapes you can make, different colors. You can resize everything. You can even put text in here. Oops. You can also do all kinds of things. So let's take a brush. Let's choose a color blue. And I'm going to choose this airbrush. And then I'm going to make the size really large. And I'm just going to hold the mouse button down. And you can see I'm painting on here. And yes, you can save them by going to this little save button up here. It looks like a little disc. Or by clicking on File and going to Save. And that's just a quick overview of a few of the Windows applications. I hope you enjoyed this. And be sure to rewatch the video if you didn't grasp something or you want to learn a little bit of something maybe you missed. Alrighty, see you again soon.